is wrong. So this is a book club book for today. It was a mistake to trust him. Shivering and bruised, a teen wakes up on the side of a dirt road with no memory of how she got there or who she is. The police don't know where she came from until a frantic man arrives at the station. He's been searching for her for hours. He has her school ID, her birth certificate, and even family photos. He is her father. Her name is Mary. Also, he says. So when Lola slammed the car door and stormed off into the night, Drew thought they just needed some time to cool off. Except Lola disappeared. Now his friends, the sheriff, and the whole of the town are convinced that Drew murdered his girlfriend. Forget proving his innocence. He needs to find her. The longer Lola is missing, the fewer leads there are to follow and the more danger they are in. So this is about Megan Lally's book. And April Henry, who's a New York Times best-selling author of Two Truths and a Lie and The Stolen Girl, says that about the book that begs to be read in a single adrenaline-fueled sitting. So that's what this says. Another praise for the book was from Rachel Lynn Solomon, who's a best-selling author of Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow. She says that it is a gripping emotional page-turner with an undeniable tenderness at the center. Megan Lally's writing is sharp and wholly immersive, with a keen eye for detail and a sly sense of humor. The book will leave you breathless. So let's take a look at this book, and I think we've done day one. Let's see about day two. The grey walls of the police station look as lifeless as I feel. The patrolman who found me, it's still on day one, but it's chapter two. The patrolman who found me, Officer Bowman, sits across a table from me. We are in a conference room, or maybe it's an interrogation room. There's only one window, but it faces the interior of the station and it's blocked out. He left this door open though, so I must not be someone they want to keep locked in. That's good at least. He hasn't stopped worrying at his lip since I refused medical treatment. I may not know who I am, but I sure as hell know that nobody can make me go to the hospital if I don't want to. Bright lights and loud sounds, more faces I don't recognize. No way of telling who's a threat and who isn't. No, thank you. A few hours ago, the paramedics cleaned the blood from my skin, which apparently all came from my nose. It's bruised, not broken, but it hurts terribly all the same. And I have a lump on the side of my head. I've been told to look for concussion symptoms for the next few days. They've declared the rest of my injuries superficial and bandaged what they could. You look pretty bad, Officer Bowman said, after the paramedics failed one final time to get me to go to the hospital. There's a process here, procedure that we need to follow. You should get checked out by a doctor, get a rape kit. I blocked out the rest. There are some things I can't even begin to think about. Not today, maybe not ever. That's one of them. When they realized that I won't budge about going to the ER, both paramedics and Officer Bowman exchanged a look and left me alone on a stretcher inside an ambulance to talk outside. I have a feeling that we may have done this part before, so let's see what more we can look at. Or maybe we didn't, so we continue with it. I had done this previously, maybe chapter 1 I had done. I peek around the corner again. The men are in the entryway. standing by a long wooden bench. Mr. Boone is kind of wiry. His arms are slightly shorter than they should be for his height. His hair looks like it's thinking of going grey but hasn't committed to the change. The silvery strands stand out around his ears, but he slicked most of it back, not with product though, like he's running his hands through it for so long that it's been forced to obey. And then we see that Mr. Boone looks at me again, his confusion morphing into unease. You don't remember me? I don't know what to say. How can my supposed father be standing right in front of me and I still can't remember him? I'll prove it, he says. I can prove who I am. I have pictures on my phone. Pictures? I inch sideways until I'm out of the conference room. The promise of clues draws me forward. Mr. Bourne pulls his phone from his pocket and swipes a few times. I creep up behind Officer Bowman as he turns the phone to show us his screen. Sure enough, it's me. Same stranger from my reflection, same girl he described at the door, dark brown, chin length hair, green eyes, freckled nose. So my face looks different when it's not so bruised and swollen. In the photo, I'm sitting on brick steps, smiling at the camera and sticking out my tongue. He swipes again, and I'm with a group of kids my age on the dock of a lake or pond. He swipes again, and I'm younger, sitting in a restaurant surrounded by gift bags that are stuffed with pink tissue paper. There's a rainbow sprinkle covered birthday cake in front of me with a giant 15 candle dripping pink wax. I smirk at the camera, sitting beside the man standing in front of me now. In the picture, Wayne grins for all he's worth. Nothing about these photos feels familiar, except maybe the candles. I can't figure it out if it's actually familiar or if I'm so desperate for a connection that my brain is fabricating one. But it's me. In the picture. That's hard to argue with. You really don't remember anything? The man asks. He looks upset that I always want to pretend that I do, but that wouldn't help anyone. When I don't say anything, he shakes his head. His sadness slips away, replaced with something like determination. He holds out his hand. I'm Wayne Boone, he says, and you're my daughter, Mary Boone. You're 17. You're loved very much, and I'm so happy I found you. I looked at Officer Bowman. He nods, so I tentatively reach out and shake Wayne's hand. His skin is soft, his hand is warm, while mine is made of ice. How about we sit down and sort this out? Bowman suggests, subtly maneuvering himself between us again and the conference room. I nod and shuffle back to my chair. Wayne sits across the table from me as Bowman sits to my left. I stare openly at Wayne, and he has a withered look about him. The skin on his cheeks is rough, like it's been permanently chapped from the wind, but he's clean shaven. The features are all sharp, like cheekbones, the line of his nose, the angle of his jaw. It looks like someone chiseled him out of granite and someone forgot to smooth the edges. He smiles at me and some of the hardness lifts. Let's start at the beginning. Officer Bowman says, tapping his notebook with his pen, how did you get separated from your daughter? So Wayne leans forward, his forearms are pressed to the table. Our house is undergoing some renovations. All the floors are being replaced. So rather than tiptoe around subfloor, tools, stacked furniture, and dust the whole time, me and Mary decided to stay at my fishing cabin for a few weeks until while the work is being done. I packed up my van and she packed up her car, and we were supposed to meet there. She never showed up. I stared at him. Nothing sounds right, but it doesn't sound wrong either. When was this? Officer Bowman asked. We left our house at around 4 this afternoon. It's an hour's drive. We live in Macminville. I go I got to the cabin first, obviously, and by 5:30 it was getting dark, and I started to worry. I called her phone, but she didn't pick up, so I started looking for her. Where's the cabin? Bowman asked. On Ridge Road. Up the mountain from here? Bowman nods like he knows where that is. That's close to where I found her, walking down the mountain. The forest flashes in my mind, the darkness, the clawing branches reaching for me. I glance down at my scratched hands. I want all of this to be over. You found her walking down the mountain like this? The alarm in Wayne's voice is palpable. He gestures at my face. Did anyone see what happened to her? Where is her car? Nobody called in about a vehicle. She was on foot and already injured when I found her. Wayne looks like he's about to ask more questions. And that's when Bowman holds up a finger. Now hold on, let's get through your statement before we get on track. What happened after you left the cabin to look for your daughter? Wayne fidgets in his seat, clearly unhappy he can't ask more questions. I retraced the route we took, first around the mountain and then all the way back to Macminville. I checked the turnoffs and convenience stores and gas stations. I called the hospitals, but nobody had admitted her. I even called you guys twice, but nobody answered the phone. I'm only here now because I noticed the lights on. I've driven through town a million times tonight. Officer Bowman frowns. I'm sorry about that. We're at a small station and too rural to be manned around the clock. Normally, the building is closed by 6 and the night shift is all patrol. I'm only here because of her. He says, smiling at me, you should have called 911. They would have dispatched someone to help you or call me into the office. Wayne sighs. I should have. He shakes his head. I wasn't thinking straight. He looks wrecked. It probably wouldn't have made a difference. I lay quietly, and both of them look at me. No matter who you called, I was unconscious in the woods. If you drove up and down the mountain and didn't see me, what would the police have done differently? I still would have wandered into the road when I did. Nobody could have prevented this from happening. I gently touch the swollen skin under my eyes, and Wayne looks at me. Yeah, maybe you're right. Bowman clears his throat. Can you explain your daughter's condition, Mr. Boone? She has a lot of injuries. Wayne's concerned gaze never leaves me. She was fine when I last saw her. If you found her walking, my best guess is she crashed her car. It's the only way she wouldn't have shown up at the cabin. The power steering has been giving her some trouble lately, but I didn't think it was bad enough to cause an accident. Maybe it went out and she lost control. Those mountain roads are full of twists and turns. As he talks, I imagine winding roads and the steering wheel locking, crashing into a tree, my face hitting an airbag, my body knocking around inside the car, slamming my head into the window. Relief prickles through me. Maybe it was an accident. What kind of car does she drive? Bowman asks. A 96 Oldsmobile station wagon, a grey blue beast of a thing with pink seat covers. Someone must have found it by now. Filed a crash report. Bowman shakes his head, writing everything down. Not to my knowledge, but I can look into it. I'd appreciate that. Wayne catches me staring and winks at me. A jolt of familiarity hits like a blast of warm air, and I sit back in my chair. I might remember him. Wayne looks up at the clock. I'm sorry, but do you know how much longer this is going to take? Bowman arcs an eyebrow. I'm going to be needing quite a bit more information from you. Are you in a hurry? For those coming in, this is a book. That's not my name. It is by Megan Lally. Wayne rubs a hand down his face. No, of course not, but it's incredibly late, and he waves a hand at me like my face should finish his sentence for him. She's been through a lot tonight, and I'd like to get her home so she can rest. I understand, Mr. Boone, I really do, but I can't release a minor, especially one who has been through a trauma, into the custody of a stranger. Wayne closes his eyes, his jaw sets, and his shoulders tense. I'm not a stranger, I'm her father. Can you prove that? Can you prove that? Officer Bowman looks over at me, then turns back to my maybe dad. Do you have a copy of her driver's license or any documentation to prove her identity? I need to establish not only who you are, but who she is as well for everyone's safety. Wayne deflates. Her license would have been with her in the car, maybe in her wallet. I don't have that if you don't. And she's been homeschooled since freshman year, so she doesn't have a current school ID. He fishes his wallet out of his pocket. I think I have her 9th grade one though. She was always losing the damn thing, so I held on to it for her. He slides an unassuming piece of lamination towards us. A face stares back at me from a McMinnville high school ID. Brown hair, cut to the chin, green eyes, happy smile, pink shirt. Pink seems to be a recurring theme here. The same stranger from the pictures on his phone, though slightly younger, rounder, softer, a lot less bruised. And they are printed in big block letters next to my face, Mary Boone. I mouth the name, letting the shape of the syllables find history on my lips. Mary Boone. I may have no memory of what happened tonight, and I may hurt like hell, but I have a name and a parent who remembers everything I don't. That's so much more than I had an hour ago. Wayne continues, I have her birth certificate and social security card up at the cabin. I can bring everything in, or you're welcome to follow us out there. You can take a look at the house and all her documentation to make sure everything is on the up and up. I'll sign whatever you need me to sign. Tell me what I have to do to prove she's mine. Officer Bowman looks uncertain. Well, I suppose that would work, he says. If you can provide the documentation to verify who she is, I can release her into your custody. I'll be taking you up on the offer to visit the cabin though, and I'd like an update on her condition in the morning. You also have to be going to give a full report about the accident and the missing vehicle before you leave. We'll need your contact information, your address, your vehicle information as well. Wayne nods vigorously. Of course, whatever you need. They both look at me. Suddenly, it's upon me to decide. Can I see those pictures again? I ask Wayne. He slides the phone to me. Sure. They wait in silence as I swipe, lingering on each picture. There are hundreds, some from more than 8 years ago. The girl is so young in some of these, she almost looks like a different person. As I swipe, she slowly ages and turns back into me. It's the weirdest thing not recognizing your own face. But the proof is right here. Her face is my face. In many of his photos, Wayne smiles at me, or his arm is wrapped around my shoulders, or he's laughing in the background. A sense of finality sinks in. This is me. This is my father. I belong with him, and this life is mine. I am Mary Boone.